Oh, welcome back, everybody, to the Allegheny Trail podcast. Super excited to have a great evening with y'all tonight. Got some wonderful guests as well as co-host Julie Jester Gayhart producing and Justin Mullins with us tonight and Molly. So we're excited to introduce Alice Bodnar from the Far Out Guides app. She's spectacular. We're going to be talking Allegheny Trail planning, how to use the app. Those of you that have probably been out hiking for quite a while, there's some new things on tap for you as well. So I'd like to welcome our guests tonight. We're all here.
Hi.
Awesome. Alice is coming to us from Colorado. Justin's in West Virginia, and Julie's in North Carolina, and I'm in West Virginia as well. So got a great little round out mix for us tonight, y'all.
Awesome. All East Coasters, right? Well, is Colorado Midwest, or do you consider yourself a West Coaster?
I think most people call it West.
Okay. All right. Well, very good. All right, you guys, just a couple logistics, and then I'm going to try to keep my mouth shut this evening and listen and learn, because there's a lot of learning to do tonight, a lot of education about the Allegheny Trail and the Far Out app. I do want to let you all know, episode number 1, I don't even know if you know this, Nicole and Justin, got 333 views so far on YouTube. So people are interested about the Allegheny Trail and what you guys are doing. So congratulations on that. I am going to moderate the chat this evening. So if you all have questions, please put them in the chat right now. Everybody, let us know where you're from, what's happening, where you like to hike, and if you have Far Out downloaded on your phone. So Nicole, I'm going to turn it back over to you, and let's get this party started.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to give Alice an opportunity to introduce herself and the relationship between Gut Hook and Far Out, and kind of bring us up to speed with the journey of where we are right now in 2024.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. Thank you, Justin, Nicole, and Julie, for inviting me tonight. I'm so happy to be here. We've all really enjoyed working with the Allegheny or the West Virginia Scenic Trail Association with doing the Allegheny Trail Guide. We first partnered up with you guys in May 2021. So we have several years under our belt. So I am one of the co-owners of Far Out. We're a pretty small company. My husband, Paul Bodnar, and his friend, Ryan Lynn, Ryan is trail named Gut Hook, first started the company they met in 2010, right when the iPhone was new. They ran across each other hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. And as they were finishing up the trail in Washington, they got to talking about, we've got this GPS in our pocket. Paul was collecting data for a book that he had already written, and he was just recollecting the data, and they decided, hey, let's see if we can make an app out of this. And that was right when Apple had just opened up the App Store to other developers besides Apple. And so, a lot of times when you talk to business owners, a lot of it is right place, right time. And then you've got to do something about it. So they did something about it, and they worked pretty hard on it. And in 2012, they put out the first guide for the Pacific Crest Trail. And in that year, I was an attorney, and I quit my job, and Paul and I hiked the PCT. We through hiked the PCT, recollected the data, and then when we got off the trail, I wrote the app for Android. I just taught myself how to do it. And
wow. That is impressive.
Yeah, I just happened to wake up one day and I'll just write this.
Nice.
Okay, I had to interrupt you on that. That is insane.
Yeah, well, I've always loved fooling around with computers, and it's all open source, so it was just fun. And so we were able to get the app out for the PCT for Android in 2013. And I kind of didn't know what I was going to do, if I was going to go back to law or not, but I ended up staying with the company, so I've been with them since 2013. And so from then it just, it was pretty popular on the PCT, and then people are asking for it for the Appalachian Trail. Well, and so we put that together, At first, it wasn't quite as detailed as our Pacific Crest Trail, but we filled it in over the years. And then we published the John Muir Trail, and then the Continental Divide Trail, and then, we started partnering with people. If you've ever heard of Jerry Brown, he's kind of well known in Continental Divide Trail community. He partnered with us, got us some data for that. And so we just kept partnering with organizations. And today we have over 250 trails all over the world. And we've expanded into paddling and bike packing as well.
Fantastic. That's really impressive, Take us back for some of maybe a new hiker, right? We're always going to have our phone. We're taking pictures. We're posting. We're excited. What does it take to create all the details for a trail? I mean, obviously, the big three you just named right there, it's, months to even hike. But what would it take? Give somebody a background, maybe, Alice, on what it took to create the Allegheny Trail on the Far Out app from a time frame standpoint.
Yeah, so you guys were kind of a neat case study for us. We really wanted to partner with you because we knew that you would be able to build the trail that we put in the guide from the ground up using Far Out. So within Far Out, we have tools to create a guide to work with partners. So you can collect a track, you can create custom waypoints, and take photographs. So you all did all three of those things for us, and then we're able to take all that data and transform it, to our internal format and publish it. And, that's kind of how we're different from a lot of other companies, is that our comments are crowdsourced, of course. So like if there's a water source, you can read the comments and somebody will say it's flowing or not flowing or dry. And that's crowdsourced data. But as far as the actual track and waypoints, so a person has gone out, a dedicated person has gone out and collected that data for us. Or we've done it ourselves. That's how we started out.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually had the person who collected all the data for us, so the first go and worked with the Far Out Alice, everybody. His name was Kevin Rydell. I mean, he spent 3 to 4 weeks on the trail gathering all that data. And it's, he passed away. It's been right about 2 years now. But he was a great part to have on Allegheny Trail. He made a big impact, especially with Far Out and volunteering. I mean, there was so much stuff he would go out and do and help out with. There wasn't much he did. He would do whatever he could to come out there and help. So that was a great help with having Kevin walk the trail, get all the waypoints and the tracks. I know it's a lot of work to do all of it.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed working with Kevin. Sad to hear of his pass.
Sure. Mm-hmm. And I'll just throw this out. We're going to get into it a little bit later on, but right now, Justin is picking up the slack and updating a lot of those Far Outs as we speak in January. In wind and below 5-degree temperatures. He and Miss Molly have been hiking out there intentionally, right, to collect this data and update the Allegheny Trail, keep us relevant, bringing on board a lot of different amenities. But let's turn it over maybe to Alice and Justin about how you go about using these amenities. Having everything on the app's one thing, but learning how to plan it and integrate it and work. Even if you're just a day hiker, how is it useful? A through hiker, 3, 4, 5 days. I mean, a section hiker, that's not just for that through hiker. So you guys may want to speak to a little bit about that. How everybody, I know I'm looking at the comments and it's wonderful to hear everybody in love with it, because I'm totally in love with it. But for those that might be listening, that might be on the fence, like, well, why would I want that, right? I'm only going to day hike. Let's talk about some of the advantages that the day hikers can also benefit from.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I use the app, like the Plan Your Route app. It doesn't matter if you're day hiking, section hiking, or doing an entire through hike. The Plan Your Route option, for me, I plan each day. I'll see ahead of time what point I want to start at and end. It'll give me my mileage for the day, my ascent and descent, so I can see how strenuous of a hike it's going to be, not just the mileage. But that really is how I planned my hikes for the last 3 years, from the Pinhoti to the Mackay. parts of the Appalachian Trail and on the Allegheny Trail and my maintenance as well. I look and see, I'll plan out every detail from my mileage to seeing about how long of a day it's going to be. So that feature there is really handy for anybody starting out on the trail. It doesn't matter if you're a day or second hiker. Alice, you have anything to say about it?
Yeah, I'll just kind of give it 10,000-foot view in case anyone hasn't used it before. It's what it is when you purchase. So it's an app called Far Out that you download, and then it has in-app purchases within it. So you could purchase the Allegheny Trail, and once you purchase that, the map is just loaded up with the trail and hundreds of waypoints. Waypoints such as water sources, road crossings, towns, junctions, and then this bright red line. Then when you have your GPS on, it shows you exactly where you are on the trail. Julie here has just pulled up the web version of it, which is it's kind of a stripped down version of the mobile app. So you'll be able to see kind of generally what it looks like here. So I mean, the main thing is if you have it on, you open your phone, hit the location button, and it'll zoom to where you are right now, and you can see whether or not you're on the line. So that's kind of the main benefit.
And Alice, I'll just jump in here too for a moment for some of our newer users. Y'all, you don't have to have cell service, right? One of the things of West Virginia is, there's not a ton of cell service everywhere in our mountains, but some of our areas are actually protected space where you can't have cell phone coverage. So cool thing is this does have an offline feature with GPS, and it's pretty daggone accurate. I mean, so you could be in the middle of nowhere. I just want to, give people the confidence, whether that's mom and the kids going out, females and their dogs going out maybe for the first time, or a group of people, right? This is a great way to, like Justin said, not only just track what you're doing and plan it, but one thing I think I'm going to use now after hearing is actually tracking how many miles I do, right? That's kind of like, oh, I want to hike 300 miles this year. Well, this is actual concrete evidence in this app that we can use, and like Justin said, take screenshots. But yeah, if you want to talk a little bit, Alice, about how it works offline and different components like the layers of the maps and as well as amenities, you can see offline completely.
Sure, yeah. So we built it from day one to be available offline because, a lot of the first one was the Pacific Crest Trail, which is back in 2012 had no cell service. Probably there's huge chunks now of the AT that have full service, but you still need like West Virginia, you still need those. Lots of parts of the country you don't have cell service. So you just download it while you do have service, while you have Wi-Fi or whatever. And then you could download offline maps. Even if you don't have the offline maps, you're still going to have the line and waypoints just be on a blank map. And the GPS will still work. So if for some reason you forget to download the maps, you're still fine. Because it'll show you where you are. And yeah, so and it also has photos that shows you what the waypoints look like, and you download those beforehand. So yeah, once you get out there, you're all set.
Yeah. Alice, we did have a question from Roger. I think it's applicable since you mentioned photos. He says, is there a way for hikers to give updates and additions to be considered and verified to be used in the app, like pics for already listed waypoints and water sources?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Roger, because we just published a new feature about 6 weeks ago where you can do that exact thing. It's called reporting. And so now when you click on a waypoint, it will have an option that says report this waypoint. And you can, once you click that, it will just have a text box. And, you can enter, this should be 200 feet away, or, the description's wrong, or whatever you need to add if there's something incorrect. Or you can create a completely new waypoint, a custom waypoint, which is one of the features in the app that Justin's been using a lot as he's been out hiking. And then once you've created that, then you can report that waypoint. And so that comes to us and tells us, you can write a note to us saying, hey, please consider adding this new waypoint. And then we also have the same thing on comments. You can now report a comment, so you can flag it, and it'll have a little box saying, "Please remove this. This is offensive," or "This is no longer accurate." So we're pretty excited about this new reporting feature.
Well, Roger, that was awesome. Thank you for asking that.
I mean, for me, yeah, like during the hiking, yeah, I've been using that create a waypoint. It's been really handy for me because I mean, I'm using a spreadsheet that they have provided for me for updating the current waypoints, but being able to create my own waypoint, add my photo, detailed description, that's really been helpful for me. I mean, it makes things a lot quicker than having to open up an Excel spreadsheet and write everything down and do it that way. So just being able to create an update, waypoint just right there, especially when my hands are cold and I have to keep my hands in now, like work. So that's really been really handy for me going forward with updating this Allegheny Trail waypoints.
It's helpful for the community, can really contribute to the trail organization, to the West Virginia Scenic Trail Association as well. You've got this trail that's over 300 miles. It's really hard to know what's going on in all 300 of those miles. And when you have people out there actually hiking it, who can say, "Hey, there's a tree fell across right here," they create a custom waypoint, then, we can just forward that right along to you, and you can get a crew out there to remove it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really helpful for us. It's a lot of miles to manage. We've got a good group now, but it's still 311 miles of trail. It's hard to get out, especially after a storm. I mean, it could be something pretty recent.
Sure, and especially with the fact that, I would say 4 to maybe 4.5 months, there's not a ton of traffic, maybe with some hunting seasons, then we push it into winter, and we've got that urgency to get out there and get trail ready, right, for all the push in April for everybody. So I think that's going to be a huge aspect moving forward. And just like you said, on that app, you can dial into the exact mile. So when these people are making these comments, it's not, well, it's kind of up here on this mountain. You can look, right, and find the exact mile, which is huge. It's awesome. I love it. I mean, I'm learning. I've been sort of shuttling Justin around, helping him a little bit here with his journey and quest to get all the updates. And I'm just learning so much, talking to him about how he's using it, why he's using it, were there mistakes, right? So hikers can know that on the Allegheny Trail moving forward, probably in April-ish. I don't know when all that will be published. Alice, maybe you guys know, but there's going to be kind of like a revamp, right? All new data and or double check data. Maybe that's the word.
Yeah, well, as soon as we get it, we'll get to work on it.
I've got some updates in the bar, so it'll be hopefully I'll get them to you whenever I finish this hike. So there's definitely plenty of updates. I'll keep y'all busy.
Okay.
Yeah. Julie's got a couple comments when she was hiking the AT when this thing first came out. And we want to talk about that for a minute, Julie?
Yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And prior to going live, I was telling Alice, I remember specifically where I was, the exact point, what overlook I was. A bunch of AT hikers were there, section hikers, through hikers. I was probably 10 or 15 people because everybody was avoiding the rocky downhill that we were getting ready to do. And the hot topic, because there always seems to be a hot topic, whether you're at an overlook or a shelter, was the new gut hook. Do you have gut hook? Do you have gut hook? And I was like, what is a gut hook? Like, no one was even explaining it as an app, a phone, a map, a guide, nothing. It was just, you're out of it if you're not using gut hook. So I know for certain before everybody left that overlook, to head down into town, we all had it on our phones. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it, but that was the summer of 2015. And to me, that is really when the technology began to overtake some of the former guides that were used to, relying on consistently. And I know for years, I would have my paper map and far out, on whatever trail I was on. And now the younger or the new through hikers or section hikers, all they seem to have is the app on their phone. So that was just going down memory lane. But I guess my question is, how have you guys seen the app evolve from inception in the technology age with AI coming out? And obviously you learning how to code, that's huge. So what have you guys seen over the years? And then I have a part 2 to the question, but we can get to that later.
Okay. Yeah, so that's neat that was in 2015 because I'm pretty sure we came out with AT in 2014. And it wasn't even complete then, but we filled it out, I think, by 2015, 2016. I don't know. I remember like when it was embarrassing to have a phone on the trail. You kind of sneak off to the side so nobody'd see you, and because you didn't want to disrupt anybody. But we actually do discourage people only using a phone because that's just a terrible idea. You can get wet, you can lose it, it can break. So we always encourage people to take a backup, whether that's a GPS, whether that's another electronic backup or papers or something. But yeah, that's interesting. That's a good question. The fundamental product is the same since we started. It's a line with a dot that shows you where you are, a bunch of waypoint. Over the years, we've added a lot of bells and whistles to that based upon what people write in. They want this, they want that. What our first version didn't have an elevation profile, so that was something new very quickly. We have a feature now where you can share with followers where you are for the folks back home. We added that several years ago. And then, of course, this new reporting feature. And the biggest thing that I'd say we've done is we partner with so many organizations now. We started off doing it ourselves, hiking the trail ourselves. But now we partner so that we can present so many more trails to places all over the world.
Wow, that's really, really advanced. And my second question was the name change, because that's still, I remember when, the color of the app changed. And it was just like, what is happening? What's going on over there at Gut Hook? And, on and on. And one thing I remember seeing, I don't know if it was a tagline or who came up with it, and it said, we are going to give Ryan his trail name back. And I was like, that is genius.
Well, yeah. So that's essentially what we did. Ryan is such a talented guy. He's really smart. He taught himself to program too. I forgot to mention that. He wrote the iOS app, and he was not a computer science major. So, yeah, he's a private guy. It's like it's kind of neat at the beginning for it to be named after him, but then he kind of wanted some privacy. And also, you have to admit, it's kind of a confusing name for people who are not in the long distance backpacking world. So it's incredibly difficult to come up with a new name. I never would have guessed this, but over a many month process, we've landed on Far Out. And it's grown on us over the years. And yeah, we decided we didn't want to just be another green icon on your screen. So we went with the pink. And we actually worked with this really neat person who had worked in a New York City branding agency, and then and reached out to us after she hiked the AT and said, hey, I think maybe you could do a branding redo. She thinks great. We worked with her, and she was great. So, yeah.
And that's the end of the story. That's it.
Well, it was a lot of work at the time, and yeah, and then people thought we got purchased. We were not purchased anybody. It's the same owners. We're a 100% employee-owned company. Ryan is still with the company. People thought that Ryan's no longer with us because it's no longer Gut Hook, but he's still with us. And so really all that changed with the names.
There you go. My 2 questions answered. Boom.
Awesome. Well, I think too is like amazing. I think about, I taught a little bit of orienteering in college for a independent study I needed, and taking, like, getting the maps and the compass and everything out now, and hearing so many people that I'm friends with on work days or talk about how they've navigated through, and then it's just like, oh yeah, you got this phone thing now, and it's I mean, and I think it's a really neat way to reach the younger kids and have them learn about, orienteering, right, on a safe new level. So that's super cool. And then I was talking to Alice before the show here a little bit about, first responders and the role this can play in helping rescue people and really dial into where people are at or if they're hurt or anything crazy happens. So we love what you're doing. We love the Far Out. We're privileged to be a part of it. On my hike last November, we were talking about something that is coming out. Maybe some of the hikers who haven't been out, they'll listen to the show, haven't been out this winter. But can you talk to them about the water projection feature? Kind of cool.
Yeah, it's called water status. And so what it does, it's machine learning. We have a little computer program that our lead developer, Kyle Weishard, wrote. So what it does is it reads the comments, and if they're 2 weeks old or newer comments, it reads it and it gives it a score of either 0, 1, or 2, or it discards it if it doesn't have anything to do with water. So if it reads it that it's dry, it gives it a 0. If it's kind of trickling, it gives it a 1. And if it's a flowing water source, it gives it a 2. And then it just adds all those up and takes the average. So, the main AI or machine learning component of that is just having, this model take the words, it's flowing, and turn that into a 2, or barely a trickle and turn that into a 1. You can give it some real wacky things that you would think only a human would understand, that it's flowing, and it understands it and gives it the right score. It's pretty cool. So you'll see this little water meter above the water comments, above the comments, if there's any water comments that are newer than 2 weeks old.
Wow.
Correct.
Girl. Yeah. Well, I mean, Far Out's helped me. It gives me the confidence to even actually go out and hike when I first started in 2019. I was looking at just getting out more and getting into backpacking a little bit more seriously. As it's what turned me to the Appalachian Trail, because I didn't have enough confidence to do guidebooks and maps myself, so I really didn't have that background. But just being able to see the lyre on the map, it kind of helped me learn more about the topo features, because it does show all that as well. But then it gave me confidence to see where the water sources are, if they were flowing, so I knew I didn't have to carry a bunch of water with me starting out, or especially on these climbs. But it was really helpful starting out for me, and that's what gave me the confidence to learn more about the trails and really get out and start backpacking. So I don't know if I would have been into it as much if I didn't have something to really help me get started with it when I was really new into it.
Yeah,
That makes
for
me
sure.
so happy to hear. Thank you.
We do have a question. Tangent Trails says, when will the water feature be live?
It is live. It's actually maintenance right now. I looked right before this. There's a couple of, there hardly anyone's hiking right now, except crazy Justin here. So there's not many water comments, but it's actually there actually aren't any right now, but they'll be back up and running in the next couple of days.
All right, everybody is right now, who is listening to this, either live or in the future, they are getting out their phones right now and hitting the app and seeing if they can see what's going on. I think really cool, really cool.
Yeah, and I think it's a takeaway for everybody too is, hey, get your phone out when you're out there and comment, right? Like, let's help each other along the way. Even if don't worry about what season it is. Let's just get out there, and if you're using the app and you're being safe and you're plotting your hiking and your trails, let's get in there and be interactive as well. We can talk about all the good things, but this is one component, right? Where as a hiker, we're always picking up trash, we're doing other things. We could pay this forward each time. So let's be proactive and play the team game here for the long haul, and see what we can do about having people be more interactive with this life-saving aspect of the water.
Yeah, these comments really help. Even if there's a blowdown or something maintenance related close by, there can be a comment on there. I try to check on my section whenever I can and try to keep up to date on water. So just leaving a comment's really important, especially since it's a couple of years old now, a little bit over 2 years, I think now. But yeah, just the more comments we have, the better their app really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps us maintain the trail and pass along anything that we find out to our trail partners.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while I've got two awesome people still on the podcast with us, Alice, why don't we take a minute and kind of showcase what some of the far out the guides are doing? Like Justin, he's now one of your ambassadors, so maybe we could do this program and all the other trails that have these, right? We're super fortunate with the Allegheny Trail to have Justin be a far out ambassador. But we'll let Alice talk about what that actually means and what that looks like per trail.
Yeah, so we don't have them specifically on a per trail basis, but we just chose 25 new ambassadors for 2024. And they're walking all over the place this year, did all kinds of fun adventures. And we have a broad range of people's ages. We've had some complaints that we just show 20-somethings hiking all the time. So we have quite a few people who are outside that 20-year-old range now. And we're just going to be sharing their adventures all over the United States and a few in Europe and a few in Australia as they do their hiking, biking, and paddling, and including Justin.
And so how would, maybe local people who are Justin's fans keep up with him? They have a blog on your site, or what's the best way to kind of have them stay up with it, that far out ambassador?
Well, our ambassadors tag us in their posts and then we repost them. So, if you follow our Instagram or our Facebook, we'll be reposting those. And then we're working on building our website, showing the various social accounts of all our ambassadors.
Oh, great. It's more homework for our fans out there, guys. And you're putting a comment, stuff, and then you know it on Instagram and TikTok or whatever platforms far out's on, right? Because we want to propel them and help elevate them in the world. They're doing so much for all of us hikers, like she said, bikers and kayakers. So we're all one big team out there enjoying the woods and the water and nature in general. Let's do our part, right, and support each other.
Yeah, and we had a lot of applicants. It was so hard to choose. It just was like you going through everything, you just feel horrible not picking this certain person that, you have to narrow it down to 25.
Sure, I bet. Well, we're proud of Justin and Molly, and I think any other questions for Miss Alice?
Yeah, let me roll back through here. I think the main one, I was asking everybody how long they've been using Far Out, and one of the comments was, I used to cringe when folks used to say gut hooks with an S. Another one says, handy for reporting a nuisance bear in the area, but everybody has been giving kudos and saying thank you and sharing how they have specifically been using the guide. Tangent Trails says Far Out has been invaluable for his planning. And here we've got people using it on day hikes and section hikes. And I think Alice, you answered the majority of the questions here in the chat. So bravo on that. Blue Blaze and Beyond says old school, no Far Out yet. All right, Blue Blaze, we'll get you on there. Don't worry. And that's fine too. So I did pull up the app. I think before, and again, our time could fly by because we're having fun. We're about 35 minutes in. And I don't want to leave without pulling up this app. So I'm going to flip it over. I know you wanted to mention the interactive map. So if you and Justin just want to have a conversation while this is coming up real quick.
Yeah.
And I love how the logo spins while you're waiting there. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's great to have all these features it's been really helpful on these hikes. So I really enjoyed using it. I mean, planning all these routes and such. I mean, especially setting up in the tent, I'll scroll through there, plan out days ahead. And I mean, I use it for looking back on, from my Pinhoti hikes and stuff like that, just to look for mileage, and it just helps me remember each day just by seeing the mileage on it. So it helps me look back on all these trails I've done in the past, and just, I have those along with my photos galleries for each day. So that's how I kind of organize my hike, my day. So it's been really handy for me.
I love hearing how different people use the app. Oh. Yeah, I will mention that if you buy it on your mobile app, you have access to our web app here as well. As I mentioned earlier, it's just kind of a stripped down version of obviously this is not GPS aware on the web, but like it is on your phone. But this gives you the waypoints and the track, and kind of gives you just a bigger screen to figure out what you want to do.
Can you create routes and plan such on the mobile or not mobile, but just on the interactive map as well?
No, we don't have that feature yet on the web app version. You have to do that on the phone.
Okay.
Justin, where are you at on this map? Let's try to find it here.
So I made it to Cass. That's where I left off at.
Keep going north.
Yep.
Wow, Justin, you've made it a long way.
I completed section 3 and 4. So
Okay,
it's
I see
been-
West Virginia 66. Am I in the ballpark here?
we're getting close. Yep. I think that's Durban. Yeah, that's Durban. So you gotta go south a little bit more. A little bit, and now you can start zooming up around where the
There's Green Bank. There's where the 50th is going to be, right there.
Yep.
Look at that. All right, Justin, I'm close.
a little bit south.
West.
There
you
it is,
go.
right there.
You're at
Where that
right in this
P
area
is.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see where that parking is?
Oh, yeah.
That P? If you touch
Yep.
that, it may give you a little detail on that.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you click on that, it'll give you the details about that waypoint. There you go.
So
So
it's
it's
120 miles in around that point. That's both section 3 and 4 I just completed and left off.
awesome. Well, yeah, this is great. I hope you don't mind. We just told everybody where you are on the trails.
I don't think anybody's gonna be tracking me down. I've got off trail. I'm back at the house right now, so I had to get on because all this cold weather coming up. I ain't gonna be hiking in negative temperatures, so that's gonna be a little much.
Oh, now I'm just getting crazy on, sorry, everybody. I'm getting crazy zooming in and out on the screen here. So anything
No, it's
else?
awesome. You
we
can
should
see
sh-
like where the resupplies are, where there's picnics, where there's unique elements, whether you need to do laundry, get lunch. What you're doing is great, Julie. It's just giving some more icons, not just trailhead type things and an everyday hiker. But the cool thing is you can, as a hiker, you can plan for your shuttle to pick you up, like mom or friends or whatever, and be like, hey, I'll meet you, at the ice cream shop or something. So it can allow you to dive in a little bit more than just, yeah, I'll see you in a few days, right? Like I would
We can-
normally do.
There's a
You're waiting
feature in
for
the app
someone
too.
at home to track you as you're going. They can see your routes. They can log in there, keep track of your hikers as well.
Yeah, it's a feature called check-ins. Are you using check-ins, Justin?
Well, I don't have service. That doesn't work well if you don't have service. That's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing. I've figured out. I've checked in some of my past apps where I don't really have service, so nobody can really see me very much with until I get it logged in and get into service. I haven't used that feature much on this trip, but I have on some of my past hikes. That way, with everybody I'm friends with can see where I've been and where I've checked at. So it's a handy little feature to use as well, especially with anybody you meet on trail.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. And there's a social element too, right? So you can come up with kind of your profile and find each other if you have some friends doing it. Like I'm on with Justin or whatever, but it gives you that social thing too, which is kind of neat. But yeah,
It's another way.
go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's another way you can document it just for yourself too. Even if you don't want to share it with anybody, you can do your check-ins, and then once you do get into town and have sales service, then they get uploaded to the cloud and they'll be stored, and it marks it for when you actually made the check-in, not when you're in town.
Another good way for a hiker to follow you. So yeah, that's another good feature. I need to make use of that more.
Yeah, and one of the things in Justin's recon mission here with Far Out is we're finding areas we have new cell service, which is kind of
It's very limited. About 190 miles of it's really spotty service, but yeah, it's gotten a little bit better around Section 3 in Marlington area. So I'm gonna be marking those. That way, I've got AT&T, so people need to comment on these waypoints with people take with the Verizon service, T-Mobile. That way, I can read those comments and update the description as people let me know what different service providers work in that area.
right. And then different little businesses that along the towns that are willing to share some of their Wi-Fi if you go in and get a coffee or something. So we're uploading or onboarding, I should say, more info for people to do the check-ins, which is kind of cool with some of our business partners along the trail. And yes, like Julie had mentioned, we are having our 50th celebration this year. Wouldn't right if we didn't say and wouldn't mention it. And so, Alice, we want to thank you for being a huge part of this success and helping us get the word out, get the safety out, encourage hikers to come use our trail and such. This has been a big growth aspect in the last 2 years for the Allegheny Trail, and so you guys are a huge part of that. Been great partnering with you, and look forward to that continued relationship in the future. And it wouldn't be right if I didn't invite you to come.
Oh yeah. What is it?
You,
It's okay.
you have a golden ticket.
She asked what it was, Nicole.
It's September 6th, 7th, and 8th at a very unique location in the Green Bank Observatory, right in the heart, almost in the middle of the trail. So we'll talk offline and get you some details on it. It may work out. It could be one of our featured guests, but going to be a party nonetheless. And so we want the fans out there to know about that. And I sent Julie some one picture of. I had the privilege of being Justin's shuttle here, and this is for those of you that want to look. This is Justin's shoes melting. I mean, the dry.
They're probably frozen.
Yeah, they were frozen and snow all over them. But this is what a Far Out ambassador does. They take their time. They go out. They're volunteered, and they go out and they make the trail, get the info, and make it better for the rest of us to use. So I definitely just want to thank Justin for what he's doing. And I know what it looks like behind the scenes. It's a little messy. But at the end of the day, we all get to benefit from his time. And, Justin, if you want to say anything about your journey.
Yeah, so many people have helped me through this. I mean, Nicole's helped me a bunch. I've had Bob and Becky help me into Section 4, and Brian, and they've been helpful letting me letting me stay with them overnight. Because I mean, with these temperatures, yeah, I really don't think I could have been out there multiple nights in a row because you've got so much snow up there. You get all that condensation that forms in your camp the next overnight. I mean, that makes it rough when everything's still wet and you set your tent up the next morning, or the next night. So, I mean, it's without them, I definitely wouldn't have gotten as far as I have. So it's been great to have them help me out through there. And I've got so many more people further north that's reach out and want to help me as well. So definitely relying on them because West Virginia decided to have a winter this year. It's been pretty last 2 or 3 years. We've been mild temperatures, but yeah, I'm definitely glad I have so much help on this hike because it's definitely would have been a lot more difficult without it.
Yeah, that's great. And Kevin and Mike and Marcia, we thank you guys in advance for being a part of this, for his journey and helping with the Far Out updates. And just a, wonderful group of people here in West Virginia. And we always are out there, open arms, have our hikers come enjoy something new in the Mid-Atlantic. Julie, we thank you for helping put this production together and put this show together, and Alice again coming on and sharing about the value of the Far Out. This is just a great time to be a hiker in the Mid-Atlantic, so close to so many people, and Allegheny Trail's really stepping into its own. We're doing the homework, we're doing the trail work, we're doing the volunteer work, and it's just a great time to have everybody come out and enjoy us. So until next time, I guess we're going to round it out and say happy trails. You guys want to close it out with anything else?
We'll see you next time.